The global e-learning market in 2019 was approximately 144 billion, but now in 2026, it's estimated to be 374 billion with a B. This is a booming e-learning economy, a booming industry where the market is very underserved. And as doctors, this puts us in a very privileged position to help more people on a global scale with the expertise that we already have. It's really just quite simple. It's packaging the medical expertise that you spent years and years, decades and decades of schooling and training to accumulate into a digital asset that produces income and impact even while you sleep. And this all comes down to positioning. By positioning the medical expertise that you already have into the right underserved market, we can create an online course that people need, want, and love. And it's obvious why we attract so many health experts inside this field to work with us. But in case that wasn't clear, let me walk through the benefits one by one. First, if you're an employee working at the hospital or the clinic, let's compare that with working in the digital world, right? First is time. As an employee, you're stuck selling your time hours for dollars. On the digital world, you're selling your knowledge, not your time. And you set it and forget it. You build this course once, but you can sell infinite copies over and over again, just like copy and paste. It's completely on autopilot, just like a video that you record once and publish on the internet. Let's look at the costs. As an employee, it probably took us $240,000 of student loans just to pass medical school. Now let's compare the digital world. The cost of starting an online business, especially an online course, is $0. You don't need any expensive equipment. You don't need any expensive software. All you need is just your laptop and your internet connection, which you already have, and you're good to go. If you can't even afford internet, go to your local Starbucks, go to your public library, go to your public college, right? There's no excuse not to take a board on this opportunity of a lifetime. Let's look at taxes. As a salaried employee, you're in one of the highest tax brackets. Doctors, nurses, and most healthcare providers are considered high income earners. And because of this, Uncle Sam takes a huge cut of your paycheck as a high income salaried employee. But as a business owner, as an online course creator in the digital world, it's a very tax efficient business model with tax margins less than 20%. Whether it's your travels, your mortgage, you can business expense all of this in order to create a much lower tax rate for yourself and your family. But beyond all these numbers, I think what's most fulfilling is really the impact that we can have on the world. As a doctor, I can tell you my story as an emergency physician. I was trading my time one-on-one, doing consultations one-on-one. The moment that I stopped working is the moment that I stopped making an impact on my patients' lives, right? Not only is my impact local, that means only constrained to my emergency room, which is a very small department in a very small hospital in a very small city or country, right? But beyond that, it's also limited to my own energy, my own time. And this is a true problem, especially in the medical system. We have surgeons that are operating on patients, cracking open their skulls with less than 3 hours of sleep each night. That is unethical. And beyond that, that explains why physician suicide and the medical specialty is at such a high rate of depression and burnout and anxiety. The system is already breaking. You don't have to be living under a rock to know that. And this means that medical system is completely unsustainable the way it is. On the other hand, if you look at the digital world, by using a one-to-many approach, we're no longer, we're decoupling our time from money, and we can have a global impact. Our impact is no longer limited to our flesh and our bone and our time. By creating a digital asset, an online course that's 100% automated, that works for us, even while we're sleeping, even while we're traveling the world, even while we're spending more time with our family, enjoying the generational wealth that we've created, 24 hours in a day, 365, because the internet does not sleep. That is truly why I'm so passionate about serving doctors, nurses, and health providers and helping them bridge that gap between being a salaried employee to becoming a digital educator, helping more people on a global scale. Now let's compare this with traditional business models. Well, first and foremost, cash flow, right? With a traditional practice, you're already negative on day one. Not only do you have huge staffing costs, you have to hire 10, 30 plus people, right? You have to buy a lot of equipment, not to mention all the workload, the insurance, the paperwork, the legal. It's a lot of headaches. On the other hand, if you look at a digital asset, you're cash flow positive on day one. That is very important because it means you're already profitable starting on day one. And you can simply reinvest those profits in order to generate a higher and higher return on investment, like some of our students have, 2,000% return on investment, $10,000 in, $200,000 out in just the first 30 days. Beyond that, you don't need crazy stuff, right? You don't need to have a business partner. You don't need to borrow any money. You can just start by yourself in your pajamas, in the comfort of your own homes, even with your dog or your child cuddling next to you. You can start this tonight at your home, because what's most valuable is the expertise that you already have up here. Equipment, you just need your laptop and the local internet connection, right? If you can't even afford internet, go to your local Starbucks, go to the public library. There's no excuse not to package the expertise that you already have on the internet to help more people. In terms of workload, there's no insurance claims, there's not a lot of paperwork, right? Everything is fully automated using technology and systems that we provide you, plug and play. So all you have to do is just sit down, fill in the blanks, and launch your online course in as short as 4 weeks. One big thing is the profit, all right, the profit. With a traditional with a traditional brick and mortar business, profit margins are very slim. If you know what you're doing, you might be generating 20% profit margins, but most traditional businesses are generating less than 10%. On top of that, it's very vulnerable to recessions. With a digital asset, with a digital online course, you're generating 80 to 99% profit. Now, why is that the case? How much can software actually cost? With Zoom, it's completely free. With Google PowerPoint slides, it's completely free. Right? We're just using free software. So software is very cheap. On top of that, there's no rent. We don't have to pay for a brick and mortar practice. We don't have to pay for a local office, right? And so the expenses are super low, keeping your profit margins nice and healthy at 80 to 99%. On top of that, it's recession proof. With all the crazy things that are happening in the recent years, the one thing that you can be sure to depend on is the online world. More and more people are spending time at their home in the comfort of their own homes, learning, empowering themselves, and investing in their own education, in their own career. If you already have children, then you'll know that everything is moving online, especially when it comes to education. And so with all that being said, with a traditional private practice, the risk is extremely high. You already have to take on loans in order to start your private practice. With an online course, on the other hand, with a digital asset, there's virtually no risk. If you fail, so be it. You don't lose any money, and you barely lose any time. The biggest risk is not taking this opportunity, because each month that passes without an online course, each month that passes with you not having a digital asset that creates income and impact for you, is essentially you leaving tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of passive income that you could have made in opportunity cost. The only risk is not starting, or at least not learning more, because we can always make back more money. We can always generate more income. But the one thing that we can never get back is time. That is the biggest risk.